Welcome back. As we commemorate September 11th, a new threat from the leader of Al-Qaeda, calling for unity among jihadis around the world in order to expand their attacks on the U.S. homeland. Al-Qaeda leader Ayman al-Zawahiri saying, quote, "If we understand America's war strategy against Muslims and understand how the American system works, it becomes easy for us to know how we can inflict damage on this system." The former Navy SEAL Rob O'Neill, who killed Osama bin Laden, he is warning that there is still a terror threat from Al-Qaeda. Van, we have taken national security measures in the past 17 years to make us less vulnerable to terror. But what do you think? Is there still a threat?
Oh, I think, unfortunately, Liz, it's a more dangerous world today than it was the day after 9/11. And the reason I say that, one reason is technology is changing so quickly, faster than our ability to adapt and respond. So I believe in this age we live in, with technology changing so rapidly, the threats are increasing exponentially. As far as Al-Qaeda is concerned, you got to look at it in historical context. Radical Islamist scholars back in the 1500s were talking then, just like the radical Islamists talk today, wanting to return to the first four caliphs, the rulers after Muhammad. This has been, I don't care if you call it Al-Qaeda, I don't care if you call it Boko Haram or ISIS, it's radical Islam. And people need to understand that, and it exists in both the Shiite and in the Sunni versions of Islam.
You know, Homeland Security just did an assessment, Van, about how terrorists are trying to leverage mass casualty events. They're talking mass shooting events, vehicle attacks. And you know what's really interesting, too, Van? I want your comment on that. And also, FBI agents who interrogate terrorists that we have talked to, they found a surprising antidote to terror, that the best antidote to their terrorism is our American culture of freedom. In other words, when they come here, they like how we live in a democracy and freedom. Your take on that?
Absolutely. And I think the 9/11 Commission said it best, Liz, that 9/11 above all else was a failure of imagination. We're always responding to that last attack rather than thinking outside the box to prevent the next one. But they're right. That's why I've been a big advocate of the Al-Hurra Network, which is an independent agency of our government. It's not American propaganda, but it's exposing young people there in that part of the world to Western values and Western ideals. We've got to work more with reform Muslims, people like King Abdullah of Jordan. Go back a few years when he complained to our Congress that our government was not giving him what he needed to take the fight to radical Islamists. We need to work more with people like him. And also, I'm concerned about social media. They use it as a recruiting tool. I've called for the establishment of a situational awareness hotline, separate from 911. So if you see something suspicious on Facebook or Twitter or even Instagram, you could text a photo in real time to a database that our law enforcement community would have here in this country to compare to what they have in their terrorist database, and link up with our state emergency management directorates so they could respond to a terrorist attack and certainly improve situational awareness during an attack. These are the kinds of common sense things that we've got to do and think outside the box.
Okay, let's move on to the next story. The first two American service members have been identified in the 55 boxes of Korean War remains that North Korea handed over in July. The soldiers' identities will be officially announced in the coming days after their relatives are informed. This as the U.S. is preparing for a second summit between President Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un after Kim sent a letter to the president asking to meet. It is reassuring that the remains are starting to be identified. The pain of those families over the decades. Your take on that, and also the progress in the North Korea talks.
Well, it's a painstaking process. I think it's a good step in the right direction. Look at the big North Korean parade this weekend. No ICBMs, no nuclear imagery. We've got a long ways to go, but I will say this. Look at what we had before. This president, through a combination, I think, of strength, but also personal diplomacy, he's had a style of what I call one-on-one engagement, and it's made a difference. It's made a difference here, and it's at least brought him to the table. But we've got a long ways to go. If we're really going to get to denuclearization, and the administration has got to be careful about this, the old North Korean tactic is that old wait them out game. Let's wait out this administration. There'll be another administration. And I think with a national security advisor like John Bolton, he's seen this movie before. He gets it. But if we're going to have real denuclearization, we're going to have thousands of nuclear experts on the ground that, quite frankly, the IAEA doesn't even have right now. So it's a long process to go forward on. But the key is going to be the president has got to watch out for Kim Jong-un and the North Koreans playing that old tactic of waiting them out.